Hey, what's up everyone? It's Joe from Gadgetry Tech, and today we're going to talk about the Truthear Gate. This is a $20 IEM. It's a budget IEM, but if you're familiar with Truthear and the previous version that this is replacing, which was the Hola, this has a lot to live up to. Now, I run an unbiased review channel because I don't do this for money. This is a hobby of mine. It's been growing a lot, so thank you all, but this was sent to me by Shenzhen Audio, so I do want to disclose that. I have no monetary exchange with them. I have no affiliate links with them, just a standard web link that will take you to shenzhenaudio.com as a way of saying thanks if you decide you want to purchase these. I have purchased stuff from them separately. I actually have mods on my Discord server that I purchased IEMs for in the past, and I've used them, so they do ship pretty fast. But obviously this will exist elsewhere, so feel free to buy it wherever you feel comfortable. So let's start with what's included. Now, naturally, it's going to come with a nice box with some artwork. The artwork's changed a little bit. I actually kind of like it. It's pretty bold, but you know, I just wanted you to see it because, frankly, a lot of people seem to care about artwork on a box. You do get a nice little like leatherette pouch inside. It's a magnet, so you kind of just squeeze it to pop it open, and then you'll hear it kind of slam shut. It produces good protection. There's no hard shell, so it won't protect it from impact, but it's quick and easy. Also comes with 4 tips. You get a small, medium, large. They're all silicone. There's no memory foam included, but again, it's $20. On the note of only being $20, this cable from, and I'm saying this from experience of purchasing other cables online, this cable feels like a $20 cable. So you're kind of like getting IEMs for the price of a cable with it. And to me, this is an upgrade for multiple other IEMs here, just on the cable side. I do want to point that out. It's a nice thickness to it. It's braided. And then the part that wraps around your ear, it's not like super thin or heavy. It's kind of like just right. And there's a good amount of springiness to it. I find it to, you know, be really secure overall. As far as how the gate looks, it's a little bit different than the outgoing Hola because that one had like a flat front with a print on it, a little pattern. This one went with a clear acrylic, and on one side it says Gate and the other side has the Truthear logo. There's no crossover or anything inside because this is a single dynamic driver. It's really easy to drive, but there's not a lot to it. You can see inside and see that it's literally just a little speaker with the connector, which is a standard 0.78 pin. 0.78 millimeter 2-pin. Now, what's interesting about the gate, which I haven't seen in other IEMs before, maybe I just never noticed it, is the hole to plug in the connector is actually exposed to the inside of the IEM cavity itself. So basically, it's not a sealed port. When you look at the Truthear Hola, the connector is like sealed off, and there's no extra air leakage or ventilation coming from that. This still has a vent right here on the back of the IEM. But I just thought it was an interesting thing. Now, I was curious about this. I backed up the jack as much as possible to still maintain a connection, just to see if creating any chance of it being a little bit leaky would affect the sound quality. I took a lot of measurements. I backed it out until the pin basically stopped making a connection, and it didn't affect the sound. I got the exact same measurement, inserted or not. These are really light though. They only weigh just over 3 grams. The plastic shell kind of helps, but actually I do like the shape. So on that note, a really important thing with IEMs that you can't get from like measurements is how it's going to fit in your ear. And fitment makes a huge difference not only for comfort but for sound quality, because you have to find the right tip to make sure you have a good seal. If you don't have a good seal, you lose a lot of bass, and frankly it just won't sound that good. It completely changes the way an IEM behaves. The new one, when you compare it to the Hola, which I'm going to pull off right here, I actually like the ergonomics of the gate more. I think the design is better suited for me personally, because on the back of the shell you can kind of see this like scalloped turn, almost like a little lip right here that rests against my ear. That helps keep them more stable, and I maintained a seal better. It just seemed to feel more comfortable in my ear. This still has a really nice shape. I loved the Hola, and I still do. I'll talk about the sound in a moment, but there's no lip here, and frankly the gate just felt a little bit better in my ear. Both of these are better than all of the others as far as fit and feel go in my ear, but again, we'll get into that after. Another important thing to consider for comfort is the bore size, which is how wide this nozzle is for how, you know, what's going in your ear. And if it's too wide, depending on your ear canal or ear shape, that can lead to immediate discomfort. Something like the Truthear Hexa, which is a great sounding IEM, has a rather large bore and has caused a lot of discomfort for some people. So let's go with the inside here. First, I'm going to measure just below the lip, and I'm getting 5.42 millimeters. Now, if I measure the lip itself, which is what's going to catch your ear tip, you're at 6.18. Now you don't have to know what this or how this translates to others. I'll have some numbers on the screen for you to kind of put it in perspective with all of these, but this is relatively small and it's a lot more comfortable for me because of that. Now, aside from comfort, obviously sound quality is extremely important as well, and I want to start with the objective side just to do straight measurements, take my opinion out of it, and show you how it compares to these other wonderful IEMs in the sub $30 price range. So I use a 711 coupler clone with an XLR interface. If you want to compare against other IEMs that I've measured, just go to my site. I have a link in the description below to take you to that. So starting with the gate versus the Hola, the biggest difference you're going to see is the gate will come across as a little bit brighter in the upper mid-range and treble, which will make it sound like it's more bass lean. Because of it, it's almost like you're taking a similar curve and tilting it just a little bit. The Hola is great. It has a warmer, darker, smoother sound, but you know, depending on what you're chasing for, I think different people are going to favor different profiles. Now, I wanted to include the Simgot EW100 because honestly, for the price, it's only 16 bucks with the discount code right now, which is an absolute steal. It has comparable bass. It has a little bit more warmth. When you look at like the 80 to 100 hertz area, there's just a tad more energy, at least for where this is normalized on my chart. And then it's also followed by more treble energy as well. It has a similar sound signature measurement-wise to the gate, but it doesn't really translate to that as much on the subjective side. I'll get into that, but it is more comparable to the gate than the Hola. Now it gets a little different when you start looking at other IEMs just a little bit higher. You have the 7 hertz Salnotes Zero, which has, as you can see, a stronger bass shelf, also followed by more upper treble energy. So, you know, I know this is a coupler clone and you can only take treble measurements accuracy so far, but this does measure to be a little bit brighter, and it definitely does sound brighter in the higher treble range as far as like treble extension goes. Again, we'll get into the subjective side, but if you want something that's a little bit more V-shape than something that's more neutral like the gate, then the 02 is going to approach that more than any of the other IEMs here. Now I added this one because I purchased it to test for gaming. I wanted to look for budget IEMs for gaming, and the Tangzu Wan'er, if I'm saying it correctly, if I'm not, I apologize. It has a similar bass profile, but it's more forward in the 1 to 2000 hertz area. You can see this emphasis up here is a bit noticeable, especially when you compare it to the Hola. It was quite a jarring difference. It's followed by a scoop comparable to the Hola, but it does not sound this way when I wear it. Now, the Wan'er has a much higher sensitivity to fit for me than others, so I had to roll tips to make sure I got the right seal. Obviously, when you start changing around tips, that does affect the sound quality a little bit as well, but there's definitely a bit of a shout to it compared to others here. It does translate to how, you know, music sounds, but again, I just wanted to start with the measurements. They are all fairly similar. You know, when you look at other IEMs that are in a completely different class, they can measure drastically different. Like this guy has tons of bass, a big scoop in the mid-range. So it's not like just because these are all similar, most IEMs are going to do that. These are all like top of the line as far as bang for your buck and tonality goes. That's why you're not seeing a major difference in tuning. All right, so it's time to talk subjectively and what I like and dislike about the gate. I like almost all of it. The problem I have with the gate is the Hola existed. And I loved the Hola. I bought so many of these for gifts for people. On the holidays, they make great stocking stuffers, little $20 gifts that you give to friends and family, and to give them that level of audio performance where I don't have to know what genre they're listening to, what their preferences are, what their ear size is. They just work. And I'm gonna miss this IEM. I was pretty bummed that they discontinued it. And now when the gate got announced, I was like, please just be an Hola with a new shell, because obviously they want to keep things fresh. The tuning is a little bit different. So where the biggest changes are is it comes across as a little bit leaner in the bass, simply because it's more forward in the upper mid-range and treble. It does present itself as more detailed because of the tuning, but from a technicality and macrodynamic standpoint, they sound almost the same. And what that means is if you have a really complex song, some ridiculously busy rock song, or you're watching a movie and there's a lot of chaos, you're playing a video game and there's a lot of chaos, this isn't going to do any magic over the Hola as far as getting more subtle details out. It just has a slightly different tune that's a little bit more forward. For the most part, it was never sibilant or grainy or offensive. I just preferred the softer, more comfortable sound signature of the Hola. There were a couple songs that I listened to that I traditionally test sibilants for, because some audio products, when they're really bright in that upper treble, it can become uncomfortable. So these tracks I use are to help identify that. The gate got close to being a little sibilant for me, but this is a personal preference thing. If you tend to add a little treble to your EQ because you either prefer a brighter sound or you're less sensitive to upper frequencies, then the gate is actually going to be a better option than the Hola for you. It'll sound more resolving in detail just because there's more energy there. I'm particularly sensitive to strong treble, so I don't like something that's too forward in that region. Otherwise, it kind of takes away from the rest of the mix for me. So here's where it gets interesting. When you compare it to the EW100 from Simgot, I like Simgot. The EM6L is one of my favorite IEMs for gaming. The EW100 is like, just to keep it simply, it's a worse version of the gate for $4 less. The cable is more basic. I'm not a huge fan of this metal looking cable. I feel like I need one of those fashionable jackets to go with it. It kind of has a weird like industrial retro fashion look. I don't know how to describe it, but as far as the sound quality goes, it has very similar tonality to the gate. It just, when you compare them side by side and listen to them, the gate just seems a little bit more full. It seems more connected to the music. It honestly just has like a higher quality sound signature to it. You know, things seem just a little bit more resolving. Bass extension is a little bit better. It's not just amplitude, it's, you know, how well the driver reacts to transients, macro dynamics in a song as it kind of picks up. And I feel like the gate just keeps up a little bit more. You know, you can tell you're getting more of a budget IEM with the EW100. I don't think it's bad. If the gate hadn't come out, this would still be one of my top picks under 20 bucks because it is still really comfortable. I've had a good experience with Simgot overall, and it comes with a few tips as well. But for $16 with the coupon code, I would just suggest considering $4 more, you know, to go with the gate personally. And then you have the Salnotes Zero 2, which retails for a little bit higher, but with the discounts that typically happen on Amazon at the time of this review, it's only like $2 or $3 more. So I wanted to include it. It has a few different finishes. This was not sent to me for review. I purchased this, but you have a brown cable with a blue shell and a red tip for what was included in the box. So it's not like a color coordinated thing. I'm sure there's better combinations that you can do and use different tips because different tips can change the color on this model. As far as like the bass performance and treble and sound signature, I alluded to this in the objective side to an extent. This is definitely the most V-shaped here. It has the strongest bass energy, and it's more apparent if you're listening to EDM or hip hop. If you're just a bass head and you listen to those genres, you're really going to like the Zero 2. It has excellent bass. The quality of the bass is good too. It's not just strong. It doesn't get like, you know, sloppy or distorted or taken away from the details or anything. But the upper treble extension is definitely stronger. It was noticeably brighter and borderline sibilant for me on some tracks. There were some tracks that I just didn't enjoy on the Zero 2. I feel like even though this is a lower resolution sounding IEM, it doesn't sound as clean. The sound signature of the EW100, the Hola, and the gate just were more flexible for me if I was listening to a ton of different genres. But again, if you're on the EDM hip hop side, I think the Zero 2 is worth a strong consideration. The shell design is more basic, but because this is still lightweight and it's a plastic shell or acrylic shell, it was still pretty comfortable for me. Nothing really beat the gate as far as comfort, but I had fun with this. Again, it just kind of depends on the genre. And I'll kind of tie all this into gaming here in a moment because I want to segue into the Wan'er. Now this guy, with that tuning, sounded the wackiest of them all for music. This is definitely a detailed IEM. I could see why it's popular in the gaming space. When I tried playing Apex and Call of Duty, everything felt like it was wider and more spread out and kind of sharp and sparkly, if you will. But when I listen to music, the tonality was pretty off for me. It's like I have my demo tracks that I use all the time, so I'm really familiar with it. I know how they're supposed to sound, and I use that for all my testing, and those tracks sounded the most off on this particular IEM. It has its merits. It's just sometimes like the stars align and it can sound absolutely incredible. It's one of those IEMs that has like a few party tricks up its sleeve, but when it comes to just my everyday daily driver sound profile, these definitely were not it for me, and they were also really sensitive to fit, and until I found the right tips, I just wasn't really happy with the performance. For gaming, even though it did sound more spread out, sound stagey, if you will, I actually found it was just as easy to pinpoint on the gate or the Zero or the Hola personally. I think The Gate is actually probably one of the better overall sound signatures for gaming of all of these, just because it's a little bit more forward in the upper treble region, which kind of helps with, you know, footsteps and stuff. But it wasn't so off where I felt like there was a disconnect in the game. It still felt laser focused on where my audio cues were. And I'll be honest, you know, when you look at budget IEMs from a gaming perspective, they're still better than most like $100 gaming headsets anyway. So a $20 IEM, if I'm being picky in this case, it still blows the doors off of a lot of affordable headsets. The Gate is not a Hola 2.0. The Gate is its own thing, and I know there's a lot of hype that builds up with every new IEM and then it immediately dies because the next one's announced 14 hours later or something. But I think the Gate is going to stand the test of time for a while as long as they keep selling it. It's tuned really well. If anything, it's more neutral than the Hola, so this might please more people. The comfort is excellent. You still get this amazing cable, and when you start comparing it against other IEMs that are good IEMs, I still think the Gate is the better pick. So hopefully you found this review helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I'd love to see you at the next one. With that being said, I'll see you next time. Bye.